What's up, guys? My name is Jacob. I'm here today as equal parts chef and vintage enthusiast. And so today I have brought recipes from 1979. Better Home and Garden's all-time favorite recipes. These were all-time favorites in 1979. I also have, for whoever brought their appetite, a recipe from Campbell's Cookbook, Easy Ways to Delicious Meals. So we've got all-time favorites and delicious meals. I hope you're hungry for food from the 60s and 70s. I know I am. I'm really looking forward to this. We'll start off with an Italian salad mold from 1979. You might ask, what is the mold? Here's the mold. You might recognize a bundt pan. We will not be baking in it today, but we'll see what goes in there. So we're gonna start with prepping some veggies. Quick, easy prep. This recipe calls for 1 cup of chopped lettuce, which is roughly half a head of lettuce, into our veggie bowl. We'll work with this later. Let's get a thinly slice 1 zucchini. This zucchini is to be quartered, which just puts it into nice bite-sized pieces. This recipe is very simple. Even I can do it. It's mostly just chopping veggies. Great way to work some fun greens into your diet. But they're both great for a party. If you're hosting for Thanksgiving, Friendsgiving, Christmas, Hanukkah, New Year's, any holiday, any time of year, these are great. I'm very excited to serve these to my friends. Let's work with some thinly sliced radish. If you don't have a mandolin at home, you can just use a regular kitchen knife, just a 1/4 cup. Then we're just gonna shred some carrot. Again, just a 1/4 cup, not a ton. I wanna get long, thin shreds of carrot in here, enough to really taste it. I love carrot. You might be asking yourself, how much harder could this be? The answer is not very hard. You might also be asking yourself, what's he doing with 2 packets of Jello? We're about to find out. As offensive as it may seem, this was a normal recipe, 1979. We're taking 2 packets of lemon Jello. And 1/2 a packet of Italian dressing mix. And this is an Italian salad mold. You might have been wondering what makes this salad Italian. It is the 1/2 packet of Italian dressing mix. All right, now all we have to do is put a couple cups of water on to boil. This recipe calls for 1 1/2 cups of boiling water, and that goes straight into our bowl of lemon gelatin and Italian dressing mix. We'll give that a little whisk to dissolve our gelatin. That smells. To get this cooling off, we're gonna add 2 cups of cold water. And to give it that salad dressing kick, 1/4 cup of white vinegar. Just give that another stir. Make sure that lemon gelatin is nice and broken down. I wish you could smell what I could smell. It's great. And then this will go into a nice cool water bath before going into the fridge to set partially. We're just gonna submerge this in a little bit of cold water just to help it start cooling down that much faster. Let that cool off before setting that in the fridge. Then we'll get started on our cheese and nut mold. Oh boy. All right, we've got the Italian lemon gelatin mix cooling in the fridge. We're gonna wait for that to partially set. And while we're waiting on that, let's get started on the cheese and nut mold. Now, remember, this is what Campbell's thinks is an easy way for delicious meals. This cookbook was published before 1967. I can't even get an exact date, but I think this recipe aged as well as any. And that's why I think it's perfect for entertaining guests year-round. So let's get started. We're gonna start with 1 cup of cottage cheese. I think if you're watching what you eat, you might not be eating this anyway. A nice cup of cottage cheese, 3/4 cup of mayonnaise. Again, your mayonnaise preference. Just gonna mound this over because this is only 1/2 cup measurement. So that's, we'll call that 3/4 cup mayo. We'll chop 1 bell pepper. This recipe doesn't specify how to chop it, so we'll leave that to preference. If you want big chunks, you can do that. I'm gonna do just a rough dice today. We can taste, but maybe not feel it. We don't want it overpowering our cottage cheese. This can be made in advance. You can bring it to work, really impress all your coworkers with some of yesteryear's recipes. Give that another little chop. And this is just going right in here. Just like that. What they are very specific about is using only 1 or 2 tablespoons of pimiento, which is about 1/3 or 1/4 of a red pepper. I imagine tummies were a lot more sensitive and palates maybe not as quite refined in 1969. That should be about 2 tablespoons. Cheese and nut needs to have nuts in it. We have walnuts, the recipe calls for, but here we have 1/2 cup of walnuts that we're just gonna get a nice little chop on. We're just gonna put this in here. And just get it all nice and incorporated. I should have used a bigger bowl. Hindsight is 20/20. Ooh. While I've got this mixing, let me get another pot of water boiling, because it's just about Jello time. All right, water is boiling, and that means it's time. It's time to make more lemon Jello. This one calls for just 1 packet, 1 cup of boiling water. I always forget that Jello is something you can make. I'm gonna put this in just a nice bed of cool water. All right, so our Italian lemon Jello has now partially set. So now all we have to do is fold in our chopped veggies and then add this to our mold, which I'm using a medium-sized bundt pan. If you have a smaller mold, you can use that as well. This makes a little less than what fills this standard bundt pan. But you'll see here, it is really as easy as just tossing a salad into Jello. I haven't eaten since breakfast, so this is making my tummy rumble. Like in I think a good way. And pour this into our mold. Get that nice and spread evenly in there. Really just don't want to waste any of this. Yeah, just get this spread. Make it look pretty. And then, as with all Jello, we'll just put this back in the fridge and let it cool overnight. All right, while that's cooling in the fridge, we can go ahead and mix in our now lightly set lemon Jello. We're gonna mix that with our cottage cheese, peppers, and nut mixture. And that's just gonna go in like this, and we'll just stir to combine like so. Could have let this Jello firm up just a little bit more, but we're just gonna mold this right in our mixing bowl and leave this in the fridge overnight. This is looking good. All right, and after setting overnight in the fridge, this is what our Italian salad mold looks like. Let's dig in. Let's grab a nice little slice of this. This looks refreshing. Plate it up. Let's get in here for a bite. It looks looks like salad and Jello. Let's get a nice big helping of this. Spot on. As advertised, that is refreshing. I think this is a fun twist on a salad that you can bring to your holiday gathering. Really impress your friends with your owning of a bundt pan. There's a reason why this recipe is an all-time favorite. It really cannot be understated that as of 1979, this was an all-time favorite. They put this in the book. Yeah, I would make that again. I don't know if I'd serve it again, but I'd make it again for sure. Why don't we dig into our cheese and nut mold and we'll see how it sizes up. All right, our Italian salad mold was delicious. Let's try cheese and nut mold. I plated this with some just garden salad greens, just to give it a pop more color on the plate. You can garnish however you see fit. Let's get into that there. Truthfully, I don't know if this is meant to be eaten on its own or with like a chip or cracker maybe. Okay. It's light, it's fresh. The walnuts are nice. There are some walnuts that are like a nice crunch to bite into. The peppers in here are like a really nice fresh bite when you get a bite into like a good chunk of one. Make that for your family. This will get you off the hook for cooking for family gatherings, maybe forever. If you bring this, they'll never ask you to cook again. They said it would be food. I almost want to finish that salad to wash down this one. I won't do that though. Thanks for coming on this journey with me, where we find out why these recipes were left in the 60s and 70s. If you grew up eating these, I'm sorry. If you feel like making these for your family this holiday season, they might not call you anymore. But we had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun. Thanks for watching.